Crash Bandicoot 2, a fantastic sequel absolutely deserving of the name with a number 2 after it, and frequently cited by regular people like you and me as the best game in the trilogy. You get all new moves like the slide, crawl and body slam, as well as new ways to play like riding jet boards, which can be glitched, using jetpacks, which can be glitched, and you even get a warp room that makes it much easier to get into levels, which can also be glitched. Massively. Just like the last episode, I'm quietly confident that even if you're a huge fan of the Crash series, there are glitches that you're gonna see in this video that you've never seen before. That is, unless you're a speedrunner, because I swear they've seen absolutely everything in these games. So sit back, relax, and start out in the warp room the way any other normal playthrough of Crash 2 would. I'm pretty much certain you'll never have seen this place in the condition you're about to see it in, but you're gonna need to get out of bounds first, which is actually way easier than you'd think. In fact, every warp room in the game has an escape route. In Warp Room 1, a simple slide spin into the wall next to the pits at the right angle will let you jump onto the top of the room. Literally just a single well-positioned slide spin next to the portal will trap you in the wall, and from there you can just jump into the ceiling. When you're up here, the centre of the room has a hole that you can use to drop back into the playing area, but if you walk over any of the pillars, you'll lose a life before you even enter a level. When you're brought back to the game, you'll be thrown out of the last level that you played regardless of the warp room you fell from. In the third warp room, you've got a minor glitch where you can squeeze between the ledge in the middle of Bear Down and Road to Ruin to crawl around in the wall a little. And another where a slide spin jump will get you up onto some weird collision on the arch above Unbearable, where messing around can get you completely trapped in the crystal. I genuinely couldn't escape this. But the glitch I've been talking about, that is, the most incredible glitch in the game, can be seen if you do a slide spin from left to right on the Unbearable platform to clip into it, then walk towards the portal and out of bounds to die. As mentioned, you'll respawn at the last room you played a level in, but if you return to Warp Room 3, there's a small chance that the game's graphics will be completely and utterly destroyed. And when I say a small chance, this only happened to me once. It seems completely random and the effect is always a little different, so as you can imagine it took a while for me to get this to trigger, but it was absolutely worth it. Warp Room 3 has never looked so good with its pure blue water, green portal edges, and missing no from Pokemon guarding the entrances. Moving between warp rooms seems to affect how much the graphics get messed up in Warp Room 3, and it seems like every odd-numbered warp room is affected by the glitch for some reason. What, you expect me to know what's going on with the glitch that looks like this? No idea, I'm just showing it off. When I took the elevator to Warp Room 1, the whole thing was pitch black with just the portals, crystals and gems showing, but moving around caused different colours to randomly pop up everywhere. A couple of my favourites were the red rings flashing on the floor, whatever the hell this blue flashing thing is, and these cubes that surrounded the portal into the pits. Moving from 1 to 3 again, the warp room changed to this pixelated mess of water, portals and archways. The entrance to Unbearable had this funky pattern going on too, but my favourite corruptions were found in Warp Room 5. When I arrived here, I was instantly greeted by Epilepsy City levels of flashing colours. If you stand in just the right positions, the place starts to look like Rainbow Road from the Mario Kart series, and even the save and load wall has a hint of flashing. The whole place is just something else. It might take you a while to get this corruption to trigger, but you have to admit, it'd make for a great party trick if you're having a Crash Bandicoot themed night, which I'm sure at least 5 people have had in the year 2025. I'm actually about to start organising mine now, because I've got an even bigger glitch to show off next, which would go down a treat at the party. It's called Friendly Armadillo, where if you use the all-new crawling ability that Crash managed to acquire in this game, then the armadillos can't hurt him. If you let them touch him whilst crouching though, then he'll still meet a painful death. It's kinda strange that this only works when crawling. Alright, I was being a little sarcastic about the size of this glitch, but how can you top corruption like that Warp Room glitch? Maybe by escaping from the rocket level in Warp Room 5. Play through the level until you get to the last Electro Scientist and get as close to him as possible without taking damage. You literally want to be pretty much inside of him, in a non-creepy way. When you're about this distance from him, hold up to keep thrusting down, fidget crash to the left, right and down, and with a little luck you should pop right through the tunnel boundaries and out of bounds. It's not quite as exciting as you'd have hoped for, since the camera is still locked on the tunnel, so you can't explore the vast expanse of space properly, but if you traverse to the end of the level you'll find that you can't finish it, because the wall collision is two-way, so you can't reach the end of level portal. You can head all the way back to the start whilst out here if you really wanted to, but why? Why would you do that? There's really not much to see anywhere out here, but it's still a pretty cool glitch. Useless out of bounds are a bit of a theme in Crash 2 actually, just like in Crash 1. In the first game you could escape the Papu Papu boss fight, which would make it impossible to finish since you couldn't damage him. And in this game you can escape the Ripperoo fight, making it impossible to finish since you can't damage him. If Ripperoo decides to place a Nitro or TNT crate at the bottom of the arena, you can jump on his head a few times whilst holding down after he's blown himself up to get out of the arena. You can run around on the water in a small space out here and find some odd collision in the wall to the right. Sometimes you can walk into it and be able to get back onto the water, where other times you'll slide and get trapped in the crouch position where you can't do anything else but watch Ripperoo bounce around looking for you. Essentially, you'll have softlocked yourself because you can't finish the fight. There's another softlock in Hang 8 too, which I find way more interesting. In these kinds of levels you're pretty limited to where you can take the jet boards. You start at one point and end at another, but there's actually a way that you can escape the normal area with one. When you reach the first board in this level, take it to the left of the pier and try to do a full boost whilst turning left. It may take a while to get this right, but if the angle of the board is just right it'll clip up onto the boards and you're free to explore the start of the level on it. You can collect the checkpoint with it, which means that the boxes in the jetboard sections aren't special. You can ride it over the edge of the waterfall, ride it through these moving platforms, and if you die whilst riding it, the board won't spawn anymore, but the sound of it will play perpetually until you go back to the warp room. I searched everywhere around here, but the board doesn't exist anymore. It's not even invisible despite the sound being so clear. And believe me, this is one annoying sound, so let's get away from it. Not only is there a softlock in this level, but a glitch that'll force you to reset the console to escape. If you're playing in Europe at least. Make your way through the blue gem path, and when you reach the end to be taken back to the main level, just hold down and right on the D-pad and you'll freeze the game as the screen transitions. The reason for the crash is something to do with the camera, and it's a perfect example of how simple things can totally destroy video games. The bonus stages in Crash 2 have some of their own quirks too, plenty of them actually. Starting in the very first level of the game, Turtle Woods, make your way to the bonus stage and then finish it. When you get brought back up to the main level, you'll notice that the platform has some gaps around the edges, which is a very minor oversight by the devs. As minor as it is, walking around on the gap to the left hand side of the platform will let you clip into it, and if you're in just the right position you can slide or sometimes even walk into the bonus to collect any boxes you somehow, in this super easy level, missed. It doesn't matter if you collect them the second time round anyway, because reaching the end this time you'll find that there's no way to get back to the main level than to jump off the edge and lose a life, which shouldn't happen in a bonus stage anyway because dying here doesn't normally lose your lives. Sticking with Turtle Woods, you'll find the only part of the game that you need to body slam to get into a secret path, but right before it there's a pit that has a tiny bit of collision that you can clip through where the wall of the pit and the floor meet. Hitting it in the perfect position and then sliding can lead you right into the loading zone for the secret path, skipping the need to body slam, though I'd recommend just doing the slam because this took way too many attempts to trigger honestly, and it wasn't worth it, like most of the glitches that we're seeing today. And with that being the theme, you'll find another totally not worth it bonus glitch in the levels Snow Go, Snow Biz and Piston It Away. The bonus stages in these levels are just holes that you drop into, rather than platforms that you ride or trapdoors that you fall through. I'd estimate that about 4 pixels below the floor height as you drop into the hole, the bonus text will appear at the top of the screen. But as we saw in the previous glitch, some ledges can have an odd bit of collision right where the wall meets the floor, and hitting that collision then jumping back out of the hole will trick the game into keeping the bonus text in the regular level. In Snow Go and Snow Biz it's not so impressive since the camera locks right above the pit, forcing you to drop down if you want to continue, but in Piston It Away you can do a glitched high jump to unlock the camera and carry on the level with the bonus text on screen. We're going to take a look at the glitched high jump after the bonus glitches, so don't worry about it for now, but even if you use it here to progress, the game still treats you like you're in a normal level, so there's zero benefit to this, but it's still something that you shouldn't be able to do. The next bonus glitch is something that you might have found frustrating if you live in Europe again. If you happen to stumble upon a box sitting on top of a nitro, then try to spin it, there's a chance that Crash will explode for some reason. It doesn't happen every single time, but you can even be standing at the side of the boxes and jump spin them to get the same result. In the NTSC version, for all of you American folk watching, this glitch does seem to happen, but not very often from my testing. The clips I'm showing here are from the bonus stage in Behavin', the same bonus stage that you can walk past these nitros at the start, but can't slide past them or they'll blow you up. It's also the same level that getting hit by bees and standing still will make them lift Crash up into the air. And it's also the same level that jumping over and over after passing a beehive stops the bees from chasing you. Yeah, it seems that this level has a few glitches. A couple of glitches ago I mentioned glitched high jumps, so I guess it's time to look into those now. In PAL versions of the game, this glitch works slightly better because Crash moves faster, as you can see in this brief clip where PAL manages to gain a 0.5 second lead over a 14-second race. And he jumps higher, as you can see in this jumping competition, where he can almost touch the point of the red gem in PAL, but has a way to go in NTSC. This is purely because of the difference in frame rate between the two, so I'll be using PAL to show this one off. These side-by-side comparisons show the difference between a regular jump, a slide jump, and a slide spin jump. Clearly, a slide spin jump on the PAL version is the best way to go about gaining height in Crash 2. If you use this technique from the metal bounce box on the right in either version of the game, you can just barely reach it way earlier than you're supposed to, skipping the whole find the secret warp room in Air Crash thing, and the really difficult level that comes with it. Earlier in the episode, we looked at an out of bounds in the Ripperoo fight, but there's also a glitch to see in the Tiny fight, though it isn't quite as impressive, honestly. If you jump over a missing platform when the fight is over and Tiny starts floating back up to the playing area, it's possible that Crash will glitch out and the falling sound effect will play a few times in a row. Just listen. If you jump on the platform that Tiny returns on, then he'll do the celebration dance on top of Tiny's dead body before the platform falls, and just like in Crash 1, he can defy gravity. I'm starting to believe that this is actually a superpower that Crash has at his disposal. At the end of Diggin' It, you can fall right through the floor by this pit if you jump on the ledge and walk to the left. Nice and simple, though we can't really call this an out of bounds, and I don't really have a category for the next glitch found in Crash Crush either. In this level, sliding into the corner of the level entry will make Crash bob up and down constantly without having to press any buttons. If you move a little more to the right and try this, you'll get into an even tighter gap, and the game thinks that Crash is crouching and standing at a rapid speed. Just listen to the sound effect. I'm telling you now that this is a glitch because it only makes this sound when Crash is at full crouch or full stand normally. If you keep him in the middle, then it won't make any noise, so yeah. See why I struggle to find a category for this one? Throw it in the pointless glitch pile, as always. There's more pointlessness to find in the sewer levels, Hanging Out and Sewer or Later, where you can get out of bounds just by playing in the right places, though it can be pretty tricky. In Hanging Out, reach this point before the bonus level shutter, then turn around and jump onto this decorative grate on the left hand side, then use a slide spin jump to get up to an even higher pipe that's off screen, then one final slide spin jump to get on top of the main pipe that you walk through in the level. The last jump is a little tricky, and once you do get up to the top of the level, you'll have to make a perfect jump across the middle of the red room to reach the other side because it's got no collision. Once you're past the red room though, you can make it to the end of the level by walking 30 steps. Seriously, it's not that far to the end of the level from here, which is why it's in the pointless category. In Sewer or Later, it's way easier to get out of bounds. Just make your way to this wall of TNTs and metal crates, then jump up onto the right hand side, slide spin to get through the wall, then jump onto a little collision up here and up onto the pipe. Once you're up here, I'm sure you'll see that it's impressive how determined the flamethrower scientists are. They'll almost aim completely vertically just to hit you, and trust me, they'll still cause damage if you're standing in the wrong place. I'm sure you've all watched the Crash 1 glitches video by now, right? Well, you must have done, otherwise you're watching this out of order and you won't know what I'm talking about with the next glitch. If you did watch that episode, you'll know that it's possible to break the 99 lives cap in Crash 1 and get as many as you want, and I'm glad to say that this glitch still exists in Crash 2, and it's exactly the same as found in the first game, except for now you can see the amount of lives you have without it being cut off by the edge of the screen. Exciting! So again, get 99 lives, collect another, head to the warp room before the icon reaches the corner of the screen, and if you press triangle you'll see that you've gained that extra life. The lives work exactly the same way as they did in the first game. You grab one in a level when you have 100 plus and you'll drop down to 99. Or if you have more than 100 and lose a life, you can use them all normally. I won't go any further into this one since we've already seen it, but the last glitch of the episode is one that's new to the series and makes it possible to finish the game in less than 15 minutes. If you play as fast as a speedrunner. This glitch is Crash 2's magnum opus of glitches, if you don't count the corruption at the start of the video at least. You can gather every single crystal and gem in the game by entering one level and one level only. Not only that, but you can collect way more of them than actually exist in the game. Normally, Crash 2 has a maximum of 100% completion. That's 2% per crystal making up 50%, 1% per gem making up 42%, 1% per secret warp room entrance uncovered making 5%, and finally 3% for defeating Cortex at the end of the game. But you can forcefully collect enough of them to give you a whopping 200% completion, and it's way faster than playing through the whole game normally. It doesn't matter who you are, every single person that's picked up the game has gotten combo rewards before, I'm sure of it. If you jump on 2 enemies in a row, then you'll earn a Wumpa Fruit. If you jump on 3 enemies in a row, you'll earn 2 Wumpa Fruits. If you jump on 4 enemies in a row, you'll get 3 Wumpa Fruits. And the last reward you get for the 5th enemy should be an extra life. There's a way to keep this combo going for way longer than intended, and the more bounces that you get, the better the prize is, even if it doesn't look like it. In fact, you'll get a crystal awarded for every enemy you defeat between 200 and 263 bounces, and a gem for every enemy between 300 and 363 bounces. But how do we get the combo counter that high exactly? Well, with a very simple trick actually. Normally, touching the ground is the trigger to end a combo, but if you jump on an enemy, then spin and crouch before hitting the ground in one smooth motion, the combo counter doesn't reset as long as you're holding crouch. So doing a spin jump to bounce on another enemy means that you'll get the combo reward for 2 enemies, 3 enemies, and so on for as long as you do it. There's a point in the level Snowgo where 3 seals will spawn over and over again, and it's the perfect place to get the 363 bounce combo that you need because right before them is an arrow crate. These crates don't give you combo rewards obviously, or we could just jump on one continuously to get all of the crystals and gems in the game, but they do increase the combo counter, so we can take advantage of this space to jump on the arrow 199 times in a row, hit the ground with a spin and crouch, crawl over to the pit, then spin jump onto the seals and repeat until you've defeated 163 of them. You don't get much of an indication that you're collecting anything, but if you can squeeze in a triangle button press, you should see that you'll have a crystal at the bottom of the screen once you reach the 200 mark. Plus, every time you bounce on a seal, you'll hear a click sound instead of the regular bounce sound, indicating that you've collected something. So if you can hear that, it's a great indicator that what you're doing is right and you just need to keep the rhythm up. When you finally reach that 163rd bounce, head up the slope to the end of the level, teleport back to the warp room, and when Crash touches down, he'll spend just over 4 minutes emptying his pockets of goodies. There's no way to skip the Mary Poppins Pockets cutscene, but if you don't want to wait to see if you've got everything, you can press the pause button after Crash pulls out the first crystal to see if you counted up correctly, as all the collectibles will show right away, as well as that big, juicy 192% completion. The remaining percentage, of course, comes from unlocking the 5 levels in the secret warp room to pull you up to 197, where you can see floating gems depending on what order you find the secret exits in. Then defeating Cortex will give you the final 3%. It's actually just a coincidence that this all adds up to 200%, but it would have been cool if all of these extra gems and crystals could have been collected in a post-game kind of thing. This might be the category that gets you into speedrunning. It's super easy, but also super boring, and the counting side of things can really make you lose attention. If you don't mind all that though, there's an easy 45th place waiting for you on the leaderboards. I know, if it's so easy then why haven't I done it? Well, I'm busy as fuck, and I don't have the attention span to count to 200 without getting distracted, honestly. And with that, that's the end of today's Glitch Picnic. Thanks as always for watching until the end, and if you're still here, then let me know what your favourite glitches out of everything you've seen today are. I'm actually stuck on the incredible warp room glitch at the very start of the game, because honestly, I just love a graphical glitch. I think they're hard to beat, but the jetboard out of bounds was a close second. And I haven't forgotten, I need to once again throw a huge shout out to all the folks that have supported the video through Patreon, who this time are Himdog, Max Wegner, Talentless Hack, Sailor, and the girl without a name. Fantastic supporters, never bother me to hurry up, constantly throwing out positive vibes, and honestly, great to have them around. The next video is scheduled for 2 weeks again, so I think the generic message is to subscribe and hit the bell to make sure I 100% do not turn up in your sub box and you miss every upload in the future. YouTube, what can I say, it's awful. And don't forget, I love you all. Mwah.